Hello and welcome to Fascinating Facts channel. If you enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe our channel. Let's watch today's video.
Have you ever stopped to think about those incredibly weird and unusual places scattered across our planet? I mean, we've got the usual mountains, forests, and oceans, but then there are these spots that just seem to defy all logic and norms. Let's dive into this and explore what makes these places so darn intriguing. Picture this, a vast stretch of land that's covered in salt, and when it rains, it turns into this giant, mesmerizing mirror reflecting the sky above. That's the Sala de Uni for you. It's like stepping into a surreal dreamland where up is down and down is up. And have you heard about the Waitomo Caves in New Zealand? These caves are home to tiny creatures that emit this magical glow, lighting up the whole place like a starry night sky. It's like something out of a fantasy novel. But it's not just about the landscapes. Sometimes, it's the human touch that makes a place bizarre. Take Yakutsk, a village where winters are so brutally cold that your breath can freeze in midair. Yet, the people there have figured out how to survive and thrive in this icy wonderland. Then there's Akihabara in Tokyo. Imagine a place where reality and the digital world collide. Neon lights, towering screens, and a sense of being in a futuristic video game, that's Akihabara for you. But you know what's even cooler? These places become the stuff of legends. Have you ever seen those giant stone statues on Easter Island? No one really knows how they got there or why, and that mystery adds a layer of intrigue that just pulls you in. And speaking of mystery, have you heard about the Winchester Mystery House? It's this crazy mansion with staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open into walls, a labyrinth of oddities. People say it's haunted, which only adds to its enigmatic vibe. So, these places aren't just spots on a map, they're stories waiting to be uncovered. They remind us that there's so much more to this world than meets the eye, that we're surrounded by wonder and mystery. And maybe, just maybe, embracing the strange can teach us something new about ourselves and the world we live in. Socotra Island is a uniquely captivating destination with its surreal landscapes. Strangely shaped dragon's blood trees, ancient giants in the Valley of the Giants, and limestone formations on Dixon Plateau offer a fairy tale feel. Hawk Cave's underground lake and Deadwa Lagoon's turquoise waters add to the mystique. Adventurers can explore Aomak Beach's moon-like surface and hike to Skund Peak for panoramic views. Schwab Bay's disappearing beach is like magic, while the Hamri Marine Protected Area boasts vibrant underwater life. Kalansia Beach's shipwreck adds allure. Cappadocia is this incredible place right in the middle of Turkey that's famous for its super cool landscape. Imagine these tall rocks that look like giant chimneys or cones. They're called fairy chimneys. The reason they look like this is because of really old volcanic stuff and wind and rain shaping them over time. What's even cooler is that people used to live in these rocks. They carved out homes and even churches inside them. Like, they turned the rocks into places to live, which is totally different from regular houses. One of the most amazing parts is the Gorim Open Air Museum. It's like this ancient church and monastery complex, but the unique thing is that they're all carved into the rocks. And these old paintings on the walls, called frescoes, show stories from a really long time ago. You know what else is famous in Cappadocia? Hot air balloons. People love to take hot air balloon rides early in the morning when the sun is rising. The view of all those fairy chimneys from up there is just mind-blowing. But that's not all. Cappadocia also has these underground cities. Like actual cities dug deep into the ground. They were used by people back in the day to hide from bad guys or, invaders. If you're into hiking, Cappadocia's got you covered too. There are trails that take you through valleys, past those fairy chimneys, and even to old places where people used to live. And speaking of living, the food there is awesome too. They've got their own style of Turkish food with dishes like pottery kebab, which is cooked in a clay pot, and these tasty stuffed vine leaves. Oh, and don't forget about the cool pottery and crafts you can find. The locals are really good at making pottery, and you can buy some really unique stuff. Cappadocia has this long history with lots of different people living there over time. Nowadays, it's a huge tourist spot because of all these amazing things. People go there not only to see the crazy landscape, but also to experience the rich history and warm, friendly vibe of the place. The Sala de Uyuni is the world's largest salt flat in Bolivia, located in the Andes Mountains. Formed from dried-up ancient lakes, it transforms into a massive mirror when covered with a thin layer of water during rainy seasons. This unique landscape is famous for its surreal beauty and also holds significant lithium reserves. Tourists visit to witness the stunning mirror effect, explore cactus-covered islands, and experience the nearby town of Uyuni. Guided tours are popular due to the remote location and extreme conditions. Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui, is this really remote island tucked away in the Pacific Ocean, way out there in the southeastern part. It's actually considered a special part of Chile, even though it's super far from the mainland. What makes Easter Island famous are those big old stone statues called moai. The local Rapa Nui people, way back from the 13th to the 16th centuries, carved these massive figures out of volcanic rock. You've probably seen pictures of them. They're those tall statues with the cool faces. The Rapa Nui folks would put them on these platforms called ahu as part of their ceremonies. Now, the whole story behind these statues is pretty interesting. Some folks think they're like memorials for ancestors, chiefs, or important people. But honestly, we're still not totally sure what they were exactly used for. Easter Island has this rich history, all tied up with the moai and the people who made them. The society here was unique, shaped by the isolation of the island. It's crazy to think that the nearest place where people live is Pitcairn Island, and that's like more than 1,000 miles away. Since the 1990s, the island has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That's because of how special and important its culture and history are. Nowadays, lots of folks visit Easter Island. Tourists from all over the place come to explore the ancient sites, learn about the island's past, and of course, check out those iconic moai. But all these visitors have brought some challenges too, especially when it comes to taking care of the island's environment and preserving its history. Pamukkale is this incredible place in Turkey that's famous for its stunning natural hot springs. The name actually means cotton castle in Turkish, which makes sense because it looks like a castle made out of white cotton candy. It's become a real hotspot for tourists because of how unique and beautiful it is. What happens is that there are these hot springs with a lot of minerals in them. The hot water flows down the side of the hill and leaves behind these white steps that look like terraces. These terraces are made of a mineral called calcium carbonate, which is the same stuff that makes up seashells. It's like nature decided to make its own giant staircase. People love visiting Pamukkale not just to look at the terraces, but also to take a dip in the warm water. Imagine soaking in a natural hot tub with this amazing view all around you. That's the experience you can have there. And on top of all this, there are ancient ruins from a city called Hierapolis right nearby. It's like a blend of nature and history in one place. But there's a catch. Because so many people were visiting and walking on the terraces, they started to get damaged. So, to protect this incredible wonder, there are some restrictions now on where you can walk and bathe. This way, future generations can still enjoy it. Pamukale is a big deal. It's even on the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which are places that are super important to the world. So, if you're ever in Turkey, it's definitely a place you should check out. It's like stepping into a whole different world of natural beauty and history. Svalbard is this amazing group of islands situated way up in the Arctic Ocean, sort of between mainland Norway and the North Pole. It's like this frozen wonderland that's part of Norway, but it also has its own set of rules because of a treaty from way back in 1920. The place is seriously cold, and in winter, it's like a really long night that just won't quit. But then, in the summer, the sun doesn't really go away, and you've got this thing called the midnight sun, which is like a never-ending day. Imagine that. Only a few folks live there because, well, it's freezing, but those who do are pretty hardy. Most of them hang out in the main town, Longyearbyen. And get this, there are people from all over the world living there, doing all sorts of things like research and working with the local community. Speaking of research, Svalbard is like a dream come true for scientists. They've got these research stations where they study stuff like climate change and glaciers and all the cool things that make the Arctic unique. Oh, and the animals. You've got polar bears roaming around, Arctic foxes doing their foxy thing, and even reindeer that are specially adapted to the cold. Just remember, though, that when you're around these animals, you need to follow some important rules to keep everyone safe. Tourism is a big deal too. People come from all over to experience the rugged beauty of the place, especially during the summer when the sun doesn't set. You can do all kinds of fun stuff like riding snowmobiles, hanging out with adorable huskies, and exploring glaciers. All in all, Svalbard is this unique and captivating spot where extreme weather, scientific exploration, stunning landscapes, and diverse cultures come together to create a one-of-a-kind experience.